Welcome to Awareness to Action, where you'll discover how possibilities become reality with me, Joan Marlowe. Join me and my amazing guests for powerful stories about those world-shifting aha moments. You know, the ones that catapult you into action and transform the way you walk through the world. Yes, you can live your life with purpose and passion. Maybe you aren't there yet, and that's okay. This show will take you behind the scenes and walk you through how other people just like you were called to transform their lives and the journey they embarked on to get there. The first step to taking life-changing action, or any action at all, is awareness. Maybe that's why you're here. Join the movement to create and live your purpose and passion while embracing your authenticity. Awareness to Action starts now. Hi, I'm Joan Marlowe, and welcome once again to my show, Awareness to Action. And once again, so that you have the opportunity to join me on a journey with one of my amazing guests, as she's going to be sharing a little bit about what she's done in her life to take awareness to action and pull her to the point of actually creating and now living her life's purpose. So my guest today is Roxanne Reynolds. And let me tell you a little bit about Roxanne. Now, I've known Roxanne for a bunch of years. And as we've just reflected, once again, she's one of these people that I've met in my world of networking for my business. So many folks are coming to me through this show and they're going, where are you finding these people? Well, so many of them are coming just from networks. And again, it's all about relationship. It's all about connecting. And many of the conversations that we're having during these shows also relates to processing connection and, again, following through, finding people that are like-minded. So those are some of the things you might want to try and do for yourself as well, so that you can have some of these amazing circles of friends the way I've been fortunate for years. And I grow along with them. We live in the world of namaste. I learn from them as much as they learn from me. And that's a really, really great way to be. So Roxanne Reynolds is the founder of a company by the name of Stop Falls Easy. And that's her website as well, stopfallseasy.com. And she's a wellness advocate for seniors. Roxanne Reynolds has enjoyed over 20 years teaching Qigong and Tai Chi. Along with teaching the movements of Tai Chi, Roxanne helps to empower her students with fall prevention tips, and we can all use that, that's for sure. She's the author of a senior's guide to fall prevention and healthy living, where she outlines causes, diseases affiliated with falls, home safety, foot health, diet, nutrition, and activities that promote balance and movement. We're going to talk a little bit more about that book later on too. She cares deeply for our elders and is committed to playing her part in helping to stop falls. Roxanne is a graduate of the IIQTC, which is the International Institute of Qigong and Tai Chi, a 200-hour Qigong and Tai Chi instructor program, as well as a senior trainer of Tai Chi Easy facilitators. And Roxanne was the person that lovingly twisted my arm to bring Tai Chi Easy into my life. And she was one of my instructors at that time as well. And again, this is just an added thing into my world too. And I use it on a daily basis to help myself. And a short story about that, a number of years ago when I had it was when I had pneumonia, and I was in a hospital bed and I was doing all these contortions in the bed. And one of the physical therapists came in and said, not sure what you're doing, but okay, at least you're moving. And I told them what I was doing, that I was doing, the parts of Qigong and Tai Chi Easy. And they said, we don't care. We're just happy you're moving. And I demonstrated all the moves, and they said, you are right on target. And I said, namaste. Thank you so much. And on we went. So I have Roxanne to thank for all of that. So welcome, Roxanne.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Really excited.
Thrilled to have you. So, normally when I start my show, I believe in offering opportunities to have a better understanding of terminology and operational definitions. So Qigong and Tai Chi might be household words for some of you, but for others, you might not know what Qigong is nor Tai Chi. So Roxanne, can you please enlighten us and tell us a little bit about what they are?
Absolutely. Well, Qigong is been around for thousands of years, and Qigong is part of traditional Chinese medicine, like acupuncture is, herbs, self-massage. And it's about positioning the body certain ways with proper alignment, good posture. Breathing is a very important aspect of Qigong. It's actually been called a breath exercise or energy exercise, and it's been around a very long time. It's from out of China, of course, and it's very popular, and it's all about self-care, about prevention. And then Tai Chi has the same benefits, and there are many, but it's a choreographed set of movements. And the purpose is to circulate and balance your chi or your energy, through circulating of your blood, your chi energy, and position yourself in certain ways, meditation, mindfulness, and the joy through movement. Also, I teach something, Tai Chi Easy, which is a combination of Qigong and Tai Chi that's been made easy so that it can reach a lot more populations. And that's what I love about Tai Chi and Tai Chi Easy, is because I've reached a lot more people because it is simple and it's something they can implement and get benefit from right away.
Mm-hmm. And that's an important point. When I teach Tai Chi, and again, I primarily work in senior communities, the over 55 communities, and in those worlds, what they've shared is that learning Tai Chi, because there's what, 144 movements or whatever within Tai Chi, and what
There's
else?
108
108. Okay, so I'm giving
traditional style.
I guess the way I'm doing it is 144, whatever. I'm making it up as I go along.
That's good.
And it's as long as you move, that's my answer to everything. Just
That's
the
right.
body's moving. So, with Tai Chi Easy, it's much easier for people to then create the habit. So if it becomes easy for them and they can remember things and have little tidbits, then they feel like they're accomplishing something. And I even use Tai Chi Easy and a lot of the pieces and parts of Qigong and Tai Chi when I teach for my memory care people. So I'm actually working with those on the dementia road, on the dementia journey, and on that road, with giving them the opportunity to utilize those. And because it also incorporates things like breath work, like meditation, plus the movement. And we do a lot of smiling because smiling generates a lot of good muscle power and again positivity to the brain. So that's just a real fun way to look at it as well. So again, take a moment when we're done with this to visit her website, because Roxanne, do you have a couple of videos on there that you show some of the movements of Tai Chi?
There's a video, yes, on there of me doing some of the movements at Ironwood Cancer Center, one of the accounts that I have where I teach. So yes, there is definitely one on there.
And again, watching Tai Chi movement is breathtakingly beautiful because it's so graceful. And you almost find yourself being lulled into a relaxation as you're watching somebody else make those moves. And that alone is worth a marvelous way of helping your body. Again, what you have going on in your mind is going to impact your body. So as we move into this, the title of what we decided this show to be, Don't Be My Mom, is kind of startling. And can you take a couple of minutes and tell a little bit about your mom and her journey,
Sure.
your journey, and what else we're going to talk about today?
Sure. Don't Be My Mom. The reason I made the title that is because I was very close to my mom. She was like my sister. I loved her more than life, anything, and wanted the best for her. But my mom wasn't into self-care. My mom wasn't into taking care of herself, and that was a big challenge for me, for someone who always did that. So my mom, I couldn't get her to do the Tai Chi. I couldn't get her to exercise, to walk, to, unless I was there and made her do it, go swimming or in anything like that. So when I say don't be my mom, that's part of it. And don't end up like my mom, because my mom fell and fractured her hip and fit into all the statistics of someone who does fall. 90% of falls end up with a hip. I mean, a fractured hip, 90% of the time it's because of a fall. And so my mom fit in the category of, ended up in, she lived with me for 3 years and then ended up in a nursing home for only a couple months. And then, fell again, fitting into another statistic, and then dying within a year. Actually, it was about 8 months. So when I say don't be my mom, it's like, don't be, take some responsibility and look ahead, because these things can happen to you. They can happen to anyone. And that's where that came from.
Right. And again, one of the things that one of your pieces of your purpose relates to the fact that when you help people improve their balance, that's going to help avoid or curtail some of those trips and falls.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your journey of self-care. And we're going to be breaking soon, but to start us off, your journey of self-care, because that is a huge focus of yours, and again, a focus of this conversation. And you aren't the first one on this show that's talked about self-care. And so what's a little bit about your story?
Well, I think the reason I'm so strong on it is because I had my own health challenge that almost took my life. So because of that, I had to fight, fight like a warrior to come back from the ailment that I had. And so I had to make a lot of changes. I had to do a lot of research. I had to educate myself. I had to change a lot of my habits and the way I ate, and a whole lot of things, the way I thought. And so because I knew I did it for me, I know anybody can do it for themselves. You just got to become a expert in whatever's going on with you, and then look ahead. These things can happen to you. Falls that's a big one that I'm passionate about, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that too, as far as people with Parkinson's. But as far as myself, it was just because of my own experience, something I went through, that made me so strong about people taking more responsibility for their own health. Because I went to the doctor over and over again, and they couldn't help me, so I figured it out, and I did what I needed to do.
I love these strong, independent women that go, I'm going to become my own advocate because. So, let's take a break and absorb what Roxanne just shared. And we're going to come back and talk about, we're going to dissect a little bit some of the things that she spoke about as far as her journey, her aha moment. Again, our, getting slapped on the back of the head with a 2x4, which brings us to our senses to say that it's imperative that we make a change. Otherwise, we might not be here. So on that note, let's take a break and we'll come back soon. Thank you.
Welcome back to Awareness to Action, where myself, Joan Marlowe, is with one of my fabulous guests, Roxanne Reynolds, and her topic is Don't Be My Mom. And it's all about self-care. It's all about taking responsibility for yourself. It's all about prevention. Those are all the things that tie together. So before the break, she was sharing a little bit about her personal story. And that's what a lot of this show is about these personal journeys that we've gone on to bring us to where we are, where we end up with these very strong convictions that in many cases we're here not only supporting ourselves, but we're supporting others, because that's how passionate we become, and that becomes our life purpose. So Roxanne, let's talk about that a little bit. Your move in self-care. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. And as you said, you modeled all this behavior for your mom, but your mom just didn't embrace it. So what's that about?
Absolutely. Well, I wasn't feeling well, actually, I'm talking decades, a long time.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
And yeah, oh, you too. Yeah. So, even my mom would ask me, for someone who's a, health nut, you don't feel good a lot. And she was right. So I kept just working on myself. I took nutritional counseling. That's when I started Tai Chi, was in the late 90s. I started learning about the way the human body works, and educated myself on on health, overall health, because I was searching, and through the study that I did, and I'm a constant researcher, I'm constantly digging to learn as much as I possibly can about how the body works, what the body needs to, to make these changes that I was trying to have. So I felt good, and I went to the doctor many times, and then when I started, my nutritional studies, actually that was in the late 90s, and then so was Tai Chi. So then I continued on that path, and but towards the so it was off and on that I didn't feel well, but I kept working at it. And then about, let's see, 2013, 2011, I started getting really sick, where I knew something was so wrong with me, and I didn't know what it was. So once I figured it out, and then I made all of these major changes. I mean, even more. I did, colonics. I did enemas. I did all of these. I did a lot of things to rid my body of poison that I learned about how to do it. So I took all the steps. I learned juice fasting, and I did that. I was on multiple mini supplements, which I still am. And all of those kept me going, but mainly it was all of the week-long fasts that I did, and the supplements that I took that were, I started going to naturopath doctors, and I started following their recommendations and lifestyle. So I made a whole lot of changes, and I'm still kind of a prude, a health nut prude. Meaning, I don't have a lot of tolerance, or let's say patience, for people who won't take it upon themselves to learn about what's going on and then make those changes, do something about it, and don't expect the doctors to do it. So I went through all this with the doctors, and then, took the steps that I needed to take, and I prove that you can do it. I mean, you can get over almost anything, and I know at some point we're going to go in more depth about exactly what I'm talking about, my health challenge that I had. But that's what made me so strong about getting people, my mother included. I tried so hard with her to get her but I couldn't get that to change. She had some stinking thinking going on, and that's not good for the body and the soul, so worked on her for, oh my God, 10, 20 years. She went through she had ovarian cancer, and went through a whole lot with her and took care of her. And I've seen that as well. And then when we got her on this path of juicing and all these supplements, unbelievable. Her brain came back. It was amazing. So I've seen it happen, not just to myself, but to my mom earlier on, before she, my mom got dementia too. So went through all of that with her as well. And, my mom smoked, you know, I was like opposite all these things that I wanted for my mom. Can you only imagine how frustrating that was for me,
Yeah, yeah.
wanting that? So,
Again, looking at some of the things that you've just spoken about, we humans don't like change. And we also, so that's one thing that's out there, and it takes a lot of fortitude to make some of these changes. It also takes an investment of time. It takes an investment of money. It also takes an investment to find the people that you are going to trust. And that's where we get into the conversations of talking about, your gut feeling about somebody or something, but also giving something a long enough try or time to see what's going on with your body. And then added on to that is the fact that, again, you've got this moment of awareness, you take action, something prompted you because you got to do whatever it is. And then it's all about acknowledging and seeing that, hey, I can do this. And hey, I'm actually seeing a difference in my body. And it could be very, very, very subtle, or it could be huge. But it's just looking at that awareness and observation and then making that acknowledgement to say, okay, this is working. And then paying attention, because our bodies were really designed, our blueprint of our bodies was designed to be healthy and to heal ourselves. And unfortunately, we've gotten off track with that in so many ways. And I think when we look at health and well-being overall, so much of it is in being impacted by the foods that we're eating, the air we're breathing. And there's so many things that are, I often say, it's bigger than me, so I can only control what I can control. And we've got to do chip, 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 chip at these little things. But then we also have to say, hey, I did a good job and it's really, really working. And then keep it up and keep it up and keep it up. And then notice if you do slide a little bit, notice that what your body is doing, and then go, okay, it's time for a course correction again. But sometimes I think we just put the head down, off we go into the world, and we don't look back, we don't look to either side, we don't look up, we don't look down, we just plow on through. And I think that's what you just said as far as looking at this. And then you also got the proof from your mom. And of course, research is important, and there's so much research online. And there's so many, Dr. Google's always there. We have to be careful with Dr. Google, but at least it gives us a source so we have some information to absorb and then decide what we're going to do with it. Or have, again, these trusted friends, associates that might be on the same journey with you, and they're willing to help. We're all willing to help, as you can see, because here we are, this group. So again, we're going to be going on break in a few minutes. So why do you think people ignore and they don't jump on that self-care bandwagon? Why? Let's talk about that arm's length of a discussion.
Lazy. I think, I do that. I hate to say it, but a lot of it is laziness. It's just easier. We're spoiled in this country, I really feel. I don't know if it's just lazy, but we don't have, I can't even figure it out actually with many people, why they're not more like I was and am, to recover or get over something of an illness, because I know so many that are. So why? I don't know. Maybe it's so easy, just go to the doctor, and get a medication, because so many are on prescription medications now. And I think that's what's pushed more than you go to the doctor. It's good to go to the doctor, find out what's wrong, and then, be your own advocate. And for some reason, I don't know why people aren't as much, but that's why I like to get out and talk and help encourage people, especially through fall prevention talks and Tai Chi, Qigong.
Definitely. definitely. I mean, I'm honored to spend time with my guests as we prepare for these shows. And some of these conversations have really been amazing. And that's why I end up with all these notes, because I'm a copious note taker as well. And that's, when you sometimes hear a ruffling of papers because of me and my notes, and you know that from my very first show. But one of the things that we talked about, I think in our very, very first conversation, is um, we looked at people finding their comfort zones. And if they, to get them out of their comfort zones, some of those things are very, very tough to do. So maybe when we come back from break, we'll talk a little bit about the experiences in having breakthroughs and having people just experiment something, just try and see and get them out of their comfort zone. So on that note, let's take a break and we'll come back. And welcome back to Awareness to Action. Again, my guest is Roxanne Reynolds, and we are talking about finding a way to help and using movement to do that, as well as possibly getting outside of your comfort zone. So, like I said earlier, we don't like change, and we like things to stay the same, stay the same, stay the same. And we also know that if we eat the same way or do all the same things, we're going to end up with the same outcomes. So we aren't going to be able to heal our bodies. And that's why the easy way in so many ways, so many times, is simply by, taking some kind of a pill. So, before we get back into the conversation, just pointing out, I mean, Roxanne's book, which again, you can visit her website, Roxanne, and it's stopfallseasy.com is her website. And on there, she's got a store. You can go shopping and learn all about Roxanne. One of the things you can do is buy this little book. So this book is just full of tips and tools and topics that can help you in your everyday health. So just giving you an idea of some of the things in here, we're looking at, she has something about vitamin D for defense. Well, again, there was lots of talk in the beginning stages of COVID and throughout COVID, and looking at the importance of our levels of vitamin D as we built our bodies up, etc. And even though we live in this wonderful state of Arizona that has more sunshine than we could possibly imagine, there's still this issue where so many people they're deficient in vitamin D. So where can people find vitamin D, and what is that connection?
Besides the sun, well, of course, take supplements. I take 10,000 units a day of it. And you don't have enough, if you're not absorbing vitamin D, let's say you are outside a lot, people are wearing sunscreens now. They're covering their bodies up. And so you're not getting that, those levels that you need to just from going for a walk in the morning, if you're completely covered with the lotions and the hats and everything. And so it could be lack of vitamin D3 is a contributor to osteoporosis. That's a big one right now. And if you don't have vitamin D3 in your system, you can't absorb calcium. So you need D3, you need magnesium to absorb calcium. So if you don't have those, it's so important. D3 is. It's a good idea to get your levels checked. I get mine checked. I just want to be sure I'm getting enough, because I think we're not absorbing it. Maybe we're not getting it from our foods. Possibly depends on what you're eating, and so it's a good idea to always supplement D3, and it prevents cancer. That's a big one for D3. So it's a great way to improve your overall health is by getting vitamin D3. And I say D for defense because it can defend in so many different ways, and bone density is a big one for us women.
Yep. Bone density is a huge issue. And we've got, and again, when you swing back around and talk about breaking bones, part of my story is a goodly number of years ago, I broke my my tib and my fib. So they counted that as 2 breaks for me. And then years later, I had a little incident where I went to spin around and my top part of my body spun and my bottom part didn't. I landed on the floor and broke a hip. And the doctor, he and I had a very, very serious conversation. And, he's, shaking his finger at me and telling me about how dangerous it is, because now I've had that leaching issue with the bones and what that means. And again, if you've had 2 breaks, get ready. And again, some of the information that we talked about at the very beginning, as far as the statistics, are very, very real. And that was an aha for me, to look at how, where yoga can help, the movement can help. I now own a vibration platform to help with, building the bone density, because we can do those kinds of things. And D is vitally important in that. So another topic you have in here, and again, we're going into the summer, is dehydration avoidance. How much is enough water? When do we know? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, the common idea is 8-ounce glasses a day. And this is what I had my mom do. And I suggested it to my dad and lots of people that I talk to, is to get maybe 64-ounce jug or pitcher or whatever, put it on the counter and just make sure it's gone every day. That's an easy way to be sure you're drinking enough, and you're not going to get enough water out of drinking soda pop, milk and things like that, or juices, because there's a lot of sugar in it. So just drinking plain water, adding maybe a little Himalayan salt, really good. Adding lemon, fresh lemon. But that's the one thing my mom was good about. That was actually the major thing. She carried that water bottle with her everywhere she went, because it became muscle memory. She wouldn't, because it was, because of me, but she would finally drink her water, because it's definitely a contributor to dizziness and then falls. So it's really super important to hydrate. And that's one of the main reasons people end up in the hospital too, mostly older people, is they're dehydrated. And some of them don't make it back out of the hospital. It's serious. So getting enough water, I can't, say enough.
Right. And again, it's all about getting that function to your brain as well. Yes. All of your body working as well as it can. And here in Arizona, one of the shocking things I heard, and you hear it every year, and you just go, wow. So here in Arizona, and everybody has, our hands are shaped this way because we always have our water with us. And the first time I heard it, I really took it to heart, where it said, if you are feeling parched, it's almost too late. You have got to keep the replenishment going in your body all the time. So it's got to be the muscle memory that you described your mom as having, or having a reminder. That was a great reminder. Have a 64-ounce container of water on the counter, and throughout the day, pull from that. So then you know, because some people say, I don't know. I've had 3 of these, maybe I had 4 of these. I don't know.
Right.
And they call it good. Well, it's not good. Good is not good enough when you're talking about dehydration.
Oh, absolutely. Contributor to arthritis.
Yes.
Big one.
Yes. All of those things. All of those things. So the last thing I'd like to touch upon, from the book here at this point in time, is let's talk about magnesium and why that's important to us.
Or it's, if we don't have enough, then we don't absorb calcium. Magnesium helps promote, and there's a hormone that it gives, it's calcitonin, I think, that calcium needs for absorption, and magnesium helps with that. So magnesium is like key for absorbing calcium, and also for our bone density. It's huge for our bone density, and we can get that through greens, and also kelp. Here's a big one, and I've heard of wakame, nori, dulse, kelp. Well, kelp, that's another one. Sea greens are super good for magnesium and calcium, and it's super cheap. So you could get that as a supplement and take that if you're not a big, green eater, because it's tons of it in spinach. So, if you have muscle ache, spasms that a lot of people get on their legs, cramps, it could be magnesium. So magnesium is definitely key to our bone health as well, overall health, actually.
Yeah. And again, for our listeners, I mean, one of my aha moments was the fact that there are different kinds of magnesium. And there's chelated magnesium. There's a variety of magnesium.
I know.
So they might not all be perfect for you, but that's where that experimental, get outside your comfort zone, do your research.
Yep.
Find someone who is knowledgeable and understand better, because just don't say, oh, it doesn't work for me, and give it up, because our bodies still need that. So that's real important to us.
Yes.
So as we move along, let's talk a little bit about what Roxanne is offering our listeners. All you need to do is just send her a note, and your email address is what, Roxanne?
It's stop falls, the letter E, the letter Z @gmail.com.
Okay. Send her a note. And what she's going to be giving you, and I think this is an amazing gift, is going to be a personalized 30-minute Qigong workout with her, or just to go through the exercise and experience Qigong, and with this amazing expert who's going to be giving you a one-on-one session in that, just to get you turned on and excited about it. And so you can see and you can ask questions of her, because we all have questions when we're starting something new. And that's another reason sometimes that people don't follow through, because they hit a bump in the road and then they say, whoops, not for me, doesn't feel good. They pull back. And they go back to what's comfortable, and what's comfortable might not be the best thing for them.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, reach out to me and we'll put something together. We'll put together a plan.
I know. We all fly by the seat of our pants, and all of us are just going, as long as you're asking, we'll do anything to support you, because that's just who we are. We're all about supporting you in your health and well-being, whatever that means. So I think we're getting close to another break, and then we'll have our last section, and we will address some more of those operational definitions, and talking about things like overall responsibility, and again, a little bit more about that self-care piece. So we'll be back in a minute. Thank you. And again, welcome back. I'm Joan Marlowe. My guest is Roxanne Reynolds, and we are talking about lots of different things as far as helping you in your health and your well-being, as well as giving you some ideas about how you might want to start taking responsibility for some of the things in your life to help you with your self-care and your overall well-being. So let's go back a little bit, and let's talk about Roxanne's aha moment, and also talk about what pushes someone to write a book. You don't write a book overnight. There's people that say every one of us has, at least one book in us, but that's easy to say. But whether or not you ever get to the point of producing this one book is another story. So let's talk a little bit about that, Roxanne. What's your story?
Sure. Well, I taught classes for about 10 years through the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center. And I started in the early 2000s. And the book didn't come out till 2011. So I spent many years teaching 3-4 classes a week to people with movement disorders, specifically Parkinson's disease, as well as my other classes too, mostly for 55 and over. And so I gained all this experience and relationships with these people, because they become my friends. I care about them and I just love them, actually. And I was with them a lot, and you're very intimate, you're on the floor. I taught a lot of exercise classes for people with Parkinson's, as well as Tai Chi and Qigong. And so it was that relationship, or those relationships that I had with them, is what propelled me to ask the question, why? Not just Parkinson's, I saw it a lot in other people too, but especially Parkinson's. Why do so many people fall? It bothered me a lot, because they'd come in with, they had broke their arm, or they had black eyes. Oh, that was not fun. Or they'd end up in a, not in nursing homes. Well, some of them did, but in hospitals and the long-term care and blah, blah, blah. So I got to know them very personally, very well, their families, everything, and so I got to doing some research, like I always have and do. And I was I thought there'd be more out there available, and maybe there is now more, but as far as educating people about how to prevent a fall. And so I did it. I went out and did the research, and the book that I wrote, it's a guide. It's very simple. It's easy to read. It's the basics about the well-being of our body and mind. It's real easy. My 80 and 90-year-olds love my book the most. I think because the font's big and it's simple, drink enough water, get on your rebounder, whatever. Because I have lots of good ideas on there on what to do. And then, and I've had some great feedback from my students over the years, ones who have read it. Oh my gosh, I've been doing this now because I'm drinking more water and this has happened to me. So, the book came out, and then of course I start talking more about it. And I think there was a lot of aha moments for me, because I cared so much for these people. And I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to help them and help their families. And so that was the big aha for me, and just getting connected with them, and then wanting to do something. I wanted to add to their lives. And of course, Tai Chi, Qigong, to everybody who's listening, there is nothing like Tai Chi and Qigong. It can change your life for the better. And I can't imagine my life without it, or even going a day without it. You can take 10 seconds. There's something called the momentary ease method, and all it takes is 10 seconds. And all you do is decide, you adjust your posture, you take in a deep breath, and you become present, and you just relax. That's part of Tai Chi Easy. That's all it takes. It takes a few seconds just to feel at ease. And so I encourage anyone who's watching this broadcast to give Tai Chi and Qigong a try, because it's been around, it's been proven for thousands of years, and there's many styles of Tai Chi. There's the 108 style, there's Chen style, Gang style, Wu style, Sun style, or Sin style. So there's a lot of different styles, but find a teacher, go observe, give it a try, and it'll build up your strengthen your legs, protects your knees, your bone density, huge for that because of the weight bearing exercise, easy on the joints, wonderful for stress. And we all have that. So you have to be in the moment to practice Tai Chi and Qigong. You can't be thinking about other things. That's the beauty of it. It keeps you present. And then if I could give you the major tip for fall prevention, if I could give you just one, that is to be in the moment. Always be in the moment, like right here, right now. Of course, anytime someone would fall, I would ask them, what were you thinking about when you fell? Were you thinking about what you were doing? Not one time has anyone ever told me they were thinking about what they were doing. They were not. And I asked every single one, and I've asked many, many, many people, and none of them were focused on the present moment. So to me, that is the number one way to prevent a fall. If I had to give one tip, it would be that. I love it.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that. Oh, and again, for folks that are listening to these shows on a regular basis and continue to listen, you're going to hear this over and over and over again about being in the moment. If you do nothing else with your life, it's taking that, doing that momentary rest, that momentary breath, just sitting up straight, getting that, whatever straight means for you, because again, you've got to work within your framework and where your body is in that moment. But just taking that mindful breath, conscious breath, letting your body fill with your God-given air, hold it, because it forces you. You can't multitask. And I think it's really funny when you said, it's very, one of the easiest things you can do is just be mindful of what you're doing. And one of the other things that she offers in this book is a way for you to evaluate and actually check to see whether or not your home is safe.
Yes.
Throw rugs are the nemesis of the world, and they might look lovely, but they're a nemesis. They're just a nemesis. So again, thank you for those final tips as well. So as we close out this show, any final words of wisdom again?
Well, I guess really would be for me, because of I know the beauty of the practice, I would still encourage people, either do it online or find a teacher and take Qigong or Tai Chi. And Qigong involves self-massage, a lot of breathing exercises. A lot of people have anxiety, and then they're very shallow breathers normally. So find something, that works for you. Get up and move your body. And that's what we all need to do, is move our body.
Right, move your body. I don't care what you're doing, just move it.
Yes.
And that's why we love the spontaneous Qigong, where you can,
that's right.
You can just do whatever.
Very good.
My students love that. They love that. But something else to keep in mind, we're talking about finding a life purpose. And as people are moving through life and they're looking at their retirement and what they want to do and what they could do for others, even if they are in a career, one of the things you might want to consider is learning. I took a class, became certified in Tai Chi Easy. And it's over a weekend or a weekend and a half. And it gives you something, and then you have that purpose that comes, and it's something that's easy. It's really, well, ergo the name, but it's easy to absorb, and it gets you going. It sparks that interest in you, and that's important as well. Yes. So again, thank you, Roxanne, for being with me today on Awareness to Action, and thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
And listeners, please go and visit her website at stopfallsez.com and go to her store, and then also watch the video about Roxy's socks.
Yes.
And now I'm teasing you, but go and just take a look.
Yes.
Something as simple as this little design, a sock with two little tennis balls in it, can make a world of difference in your life.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Until next time, this is Joan Marlowe, and it's been Awareness to Action. And again, I hope you've enjoyed this journey to have Roxy tell her story about finding her life's journey. Thank you. Thank you for joining this Awareness to Action episode. Join me next time for more inspiring stories that will shift your perspective and allow you to see pathways toward a more fulfilling life. It doesn't come overnight, but with a positive outlook and a will to keep moving forward, you will get there, and it will be worth every twist and turn along the way. A willingness to learn from this experience is key. If plan A doesn't work, remember, you have plans B through Z to continue your journey. With each adjustment, you're one step closer to turning a possibility into a reality. For more information about me or to work with me personally, visit peacefullyhealing.com.